It's time to rank all the seasons of Breaking Bad. So here we go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a brand new ranking. I'm wearing my cool Breaking Bad shirt that I got back in high school. It's very snug tight, has the crystal meth all up above, the RVs down at the bottom, and I'm excited to be ranking one of my favorite television shows of all time. This is going to be a fun list, guys. Make sure to get in the comment down below and let me know what your ranking is of the Breaking Bad seasons. And of course, hit that like and subscribe button because this week I will be reviewing the El Camino movie, and plus all sorts of other geeky content is also coming to this channel. But really, I cannot wait for El Camino. I'm chewing at the bits till Friday where I can wake up really early, watch that damn movie, and do my review for you guys. It's going to be a blast, and I can't wait to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this film, and of course what your ranking is, because this is a very interesting series. It's one of my favorites, and I'm just so excited. I'm so damn excited. I got my Funko Pops all lined up and all ready to do this. So without further ado, let's get started. Coming down at number 5, and you guys are going to kind of see a trend as I go through the rankings. This is kind of an easy way of me reviewing each season as well. Coming down at number 5 is season 1, which kind of started it all off. And the thing for season 1 for me, surprisingly enough, even though it is the shortest of the season and it kind of feels a little bit abrupt by the ending due to the writer strikes that happened, I still think this is a very strong season. And I think when a lot of people start to watch the show, they're like, I just wasn't feeling the first season. I always tell them, no, go to the second season. Once you get past the second season, you will be so into the show. And that's kind of how it was for me as well. I thought the first season was good. And kind of a cool thing for this story is actually I didn't start watching the show until about season 4, where I was in class and I heard my teacher talking about something and I'm like, a train heist? I'm kind of all for this. And I really want to, and just so you guys know, there are spoilers in this ranking, so do be warned on that. But I heard about the train heist, so I went back, I watched it on Netflix. I was so into season 2, but season 1 was a little bit hard for me to get through, so I kind of just sat there and watching it, and I'm like, when's something? And then when he kills Crazy 8, that is the moment where I was like, holy crap. I think that's crazy. This show kind of started out like a meme. I remember when I was talking about a teacher gets cancer, starts to make meth. That's what everyone said the premise was. But no one ever said how great Bryan Cranston is here. But people always talk about, it's the dad from Malcolm in the Middle is making meth now. And there's so many different memes about that whole scenario. It even progressed to where I remember when I was in my chemistry class, people would ask my teacher if he made meth. I think the most fantastic thing is, especially on rewatch, is how fantastic this sequence is and how fantastic all the episodes are in here. How they really tied into even the last season. All the build up for these characters, seeing this is just the start of what's to come, where these characters go. And that's the fantastic thing of knowing where they all go and rewatching the season and kind of just being really into it and being like, man, I can't believe where Walter White goes. And this is truly the season that kind of gets you into, these are who our characters are. They are not going to be the same by the end of this show. Brings me to my number 4, which is season 2. You're starting to see a little coincidental thing here coming about. Season 2 has such a fantastic season finale that really builds up, and the second it hits, it hit. The strongest thing about this season, though, and the reason that I actually really appreciate it, is because of a lot of Jesse's progression in here, and Jesse's progression with Jane. That whole dynamic in there really puts this show into a spin, and while it also starts to introduce characters like Saul, which again, if you're not watching Better Call Saul, you should go check that show out as well, because as I was rewatching the show, when Saul popped on the scene, I had so much more care for him because I've been rewatching that show and really in love with that spinoff of his. It's also finally Gus makes a small appearance by the end of this, where we're starting to get and open us up to where Breaking Bad is going to go. But it's truly Jesse's character that really has the strongest dynamic in here. I mean, even though Walt is the main character still, it's Jesse's progression with his girlfriend Jane in here, and the heartfelt loss that he has with her when she overdoses, which also progresses Walter White into this horrible person, which ties into one of the most heartbreaking lines in the last season when he says, "I let Jane die." It's heartbreaking. Started the descent of Walter White turning into Heisenberg right there, and is one of the core moments of this whole season in general. And my number 3 is going to be season 3. Now, I actually almost swapped season 2 to season 3, and I think some of you actually will, because season 3 has a lot of that divorce drama, which is actually kind of the weakest part of the season. It's not bad by any means. By no means is this bad. I actually think every single season here is pretty close to perfect, especially when you get to that last season and seeing how great everything turned out. Season 3 for me, besides the divorce drama with Walter and Skyler, is superb. It's excellent, and even again, that divorce stuff is not bad. Season did a good job of progressing these characters and also progressing Skylar just a bit more. While some people can get frustrated with her, I think rewatching it this time around, I kind of went to look more on Skylar's view and how she is feeling, because I think a lot of people kind of just shit on her character a lot and don't really understand who she is. While it developed Gus just a bit more, also developed one of my favorite characters, Mike, right over here, developed Saul just a bit more. The coolest thing about this season, and one of the best sequences in here, in the Mexican cartel cousins come to pay freaking the man himself, Hank, a visit when Gus gives him up, and that is just one of the most intense sequences. When I was rewatching it this time around, I went, oh my god, I was like on the edge of my seat freaking out this whole entire time, because I was like, what is going to happen? And as you're freaking out to this whole nature, you're sitting there, don't know how it's going to end. Even though I do know how it's going to end, it is really on the edge of your seat. And I remember watching it for the first time. That was one of my favorite sequences in there. They were scary characters that didn't talk too much, and they had so much more to them. And of course, coming in at number 2 is Season 4. Now, I almost flipped Season 4 and Season 5, but if it wasn't for the back half of Season 5, Season 4 would probably be my number 1. Season 4 is a giant chess game between Gus and Walt, and it is phenomenal. I think Gus is one of the best and most brilliant written characters in a television show ever. And actually, the coolest thing about this is, even though he is a villain, this is kind of where Walter White really has become Heisenberg himself. He's been given the name in 3, but I think 4 was the true definitive thing. He did a lot of fucked up shit in here, and one of the biggest things is when he gives Brock the flower and puts him in the hospital and kind of just progresses that whole nature, which really does set up for 5. That's kind of the great things, is even though each season is really setting up for that final conclusion, it's building up to that point in such a serious manner. One of the best things, again, about this is the character progression with each and every character. Jesse and Mike's dynamics in here is phenomenal. A lot of the moments with them are actually pretty tense. There's great improvements for their character, and in general, even Walter White and Gus, Skylar, Walter Jr., Hank, and even Marie. So much going on in this season. Even after I rewatch this season, I always still find myself on the edge of my seat up until that explosive finale when Gus walks right out and half his head is blown off. Like, oh my god! Like, what the hell? That is like, it was mind-blowing. And when he walked out, I'm like, there's no way he survived that. There's no way you survived that. Just the way, the mannerism that he walked out, the acting, the performances, it was phenomenal. It was a great end to one of the best villains in television history. Which brings me to my number 1 favorite season. And again, if you felt the build-up, you know we're going backwards. This is one of the most unique things where when I watch a television show, each season got better and better and better to where it landed at this masterpiece of a season. While the first half is definitely a big build-up for the back half, it is an excellent build-up. Builds up Jesse Plemons, Meth Damon, builds up Lydia to where he is in the aftermath of what happens with Gus Fring and everyone trying to scatter and hide their tracks of what's going on. It is great. Any cons of this, I guess my one issue is Mike's death. I mean, it fit for the story and it was very heartbreaking. I'm just sad that Mike died. It's one of the few shows that truly improved each and every season and got better and better and better, and really this season takes the cake because of those last 3 episodes. While the buildup is phenomenal, and the moment where Walter pays off Jack and the crew to kind of kill off those other people that Mike was helping out, that is one of the most tense 60 seconds of any show I've ever watched. It's a brilliant sequence, and Vince Gilligan did such a great job crafting this show overall. But it really, when we talk about the last 3 episodes, oh my god, those last 3 episodes. When it comes to the last 3 episodes, Ozymandias, Granite State, and Felina, it is a superb masterpiece. Each 3 of those episodes are some of the best episodes of television that I have truly ever watched on the big screen, and I was truly, utterly blown away by each one, especially when I first saw them to when I watch them now. Now, the way that the end, Rian Johnson's direction with one of them is just phenomenal, and when it comes down to that concluding episode, it is just on the edge of your seat. Hank's death, brutal, disgusting. The way they screw over Walter, the way that Walter goes into hiding, all of his phenomenal stuff with the ending of his family, how much he just wanted to do for his family and how depressing it was. He finally speaks to Skylar and says, look, I did it for myself. And you see so much in there because he just wanted to build something for himself. He had lost out on that first big project and just became a chemistry teacher. He wanted to build something and just prove to who he was. It is, again, one of the most ferocious endings. And when he has that machine gun and he hits the button and it just shoots through all of Jack's men, Jesse being tortured the whole way through, choking out Meth Damon himself, and leaving it all right there as he goes off in the El Camino, and Walter just goes around the lab, touching everything, and then just finally dying. Or so we know. Who knows? I don't know if he's dead, but Breaking Bad for me is, well, is it my favorite television show of all time? Abso-fucking-lutely. I love this show to death. It's one of my favorite shows, and I'm so excited for the El Camino. I think is writing on this movie to be fantastic for me, and I can't wait to hear what your guys' thoughts are on there. I can't wait to watch it this Friday, guys. Make sure, again, to hit that like and subscribe, and if you guys are new here, comment down below and let me know what your ranking is. Who is your favorite Breaking Bad character? I think my favorite Breaking Bad character is probably Jesse or Mike. Walter White, I love him to death, but it was a little bit hard to cheer for him towards the end. Thank you guys again so much for watching this, and of course, thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and of course, until next time, stay classy.